last run though. Oh my god, I really just reset and have to watch 7 minutes of cutscenes again. Oh yeah, I can talk with you guys instead. Fantastic. Hudson, there's not really any way to do SRM with Deku, because SRM requires either holding something or boomerangs, and neither of which Deku can do. Although interestingly enough, in the very first area of the game, when you first gain control, there are things you can pick up, you're human, and there's a load plane. So really, there are the circumstances to set up SRM in the very first area, but you don't have anything to super slide with, or boomerangs or anything. No damage source, yeah. And even if you could, what you have there is still pretty limited, so there's no guarantee that... I mean, honestly, there's barely any actors. You could probably... There's no guarantee that there's anything meaningful you could actually do with SRM here. But I find it interesting that there is certain requirements for SRM that are met here. So, maybe someday, maybe something can be figured out here. But even with those things, still pretty limited. The only actors here are grass, so who knows. Nice. But wow, that would be incredible if we could get some kind of warp out of here, out of the first area. I haven't seen Christian in F23 in years. Is this any percent more interesting than OT any percent? Debatable. It's first cycle and then it's interesting, but then OT has... OT, it at least kind of gets interesting faster, even if it doesn't have that much content. Like, the amount of real content in both is roughly equal. Well, the amount of real content in them is roughly equal, but then OOT is way shorter, which kind of makes OOTs better. What makes this interesting for me to play? It's new and cool, but I mean, this will lose its appeal extremely quickly. But like when this stuff is new, it's super exciting because it's amazing that it was found. Yeah, there's a faster quest for MM. Maybe I should do faster quest runs of this. No, that's too much effort. Thanks for 5 months, Ben, as well. Well, welcome back. I don't know what you mean by technical, but I think this will be optimized pretty quickly because, like, there's hardly anything to optimize. Like, first cycle, you have first cycle, swamp gossips, and moonwarp. Like, for good MM runners, first cycle, swamp gossips, and moonwarp are going to be trivial. And then all real optimization is going to be in the Majora fight, which is like hoping you get good luck. So I think this will be optimized fairly quickly, and it's not going to be the most fun category to optimize. Oh yeah, this is a million times better than debug menu. Really? I'm just gonna go. It would actually be interesting to see which has more gameplay between OT and MM now. Although MM would have sort of an unfair advantage because of Night of the Third Day. Because, like, that's technically gameplay. Whatever, skip the split. It's technically gameplay, but, like, you have to wait anyway. So there's an unfair advantage there from MM. But yeah, they don't have a lot of gameplay. No, there will not be a category no moonwarp. Thanks for 3 months, Crawfish. You talked to her to make it the third day. I really don't see a reason for a no wrong warp type category. Like, for an all dungeons, like, there definitely will be all dungeons, an all dungeons type category, which obviously makes sense. But like, no wrong warp doesn't really make sense, because that would just be either all dungeons or debug menu, but you have to watch the moon cutscene, or like you have to watch the Oath to Order cutscene. Like, no moon warp is basically just watch the moon cutscene. Like, there's not really a point to making a no wrong warp / no SRM kind of category. Where am I going? Would getting extra rupees to buy more chews help with the Majora fight? It would. It would also be slower. By quite a bit, because getting extra rupees to buy more chews requires a pretty big detour. Well, lowering the bar to entry is good in some cases, but not for categories. You should not just make easy categories just for the sake of lowering the bar to entry. Besides, people aren't required to do those glitches to run the main categories. They can always run it without those glitches. I think it was kiwi pins. It's cooler and more interesting than OT's any % for now. In a few weeks, when it loses its like new flavor of the month flair, then when it loses the novelty, then not really. Oh, get this. The new car smell. Yeah, surprise pie. I warped directly into Bunny Hood. That was cool. Bunny Hood without Brahmin mask. Fog. Dude, that would be used in Hundo, right? Hundo would probably do wrong warp to Bunny Hood. That'd be sick. I'm excited to see what kind of other wrong warps Hundo might do. I hope that there's a lot of other warps that could be useful for Hundo. crunchy audio. Oh, my mic's not going bad. Adine, that's actually already possible just by hovering, and it's not too interesting. It's just invisible from the other side, but still solid, so you can't get through it. You're like stopped by an invisible big thing. Just first cycle being found would not immediately mean I would run MM. It would definitely be very good, but well, first cycle is probably the most significant thing about me not wanting to run MM a lot. It's not the only thing, and if first cycle was skipped, that would not be like an insta, oh, I guess I run MM now. Nice. I like how each run has gotten a progressively worse ocarina time. Wolf Dudson, I haven't gotten a run that didn't fail. Happy Mass cutscene skip yet. So yeah, it's not a good thing. I should be a minute ahead. A good run with this should be under 30 minutes. Well, people don't really have, like, there's not really like a collective specific definition for first cycle skip. Obviously it would be nice if you could, like, you know, clip into the clock tower earlier or become human earlier, but really getting Song of Healing earlier is really, like, the big important thing. Well, potentially. Like, there could be a lot of potential definitions for what first cycle skip means, but the more it includes, the less likely it is. Which sucks. Well, Simon Chama, that actually would be a good thing, because then people would be dreading the GDQ run, and then this happens, and then the GDQ run would be like, oh, surprise, it's actually not trash. Actually, it'd be a really cool story for the GDQ run too, like, hey, this run was submitted with this new glitch where we brought up the debug menu, and it was actually kind of trash. And we were actually worried everyone was going to hate the run because it was so awful. But then we actually found Moonwarp like a month before GDQ, so then everything was okay. Well, Rinse Moonwarp on JP is only a setup. It's just a matter of finding the right place with the right circumstances and having the right setup for lining up memory in the right way. There's nothing specifically about JP that should make a Moonwarp impossible. Honestly, I think debug menu any % actually would have been accepted, just because I'm fairly sure that any kind of popular game with a massive new trick, massive new skip will basically always get in, unless there is some kind of other circumstance that prevents it, like maybe being super not marathon safe or something. Like, if debug menu any % was submitted, it would have been accepted. I am pretty confident. I don't think it's necessarily allocating memory differently. Apparently it's just a matter of the order that things load in the actor heap is just not favorable on Japanese, at least for Deku Palace. Because it heavily relies on what order things are loaded in and what you can do to manipulate the order. And manipulate like exact places in memory, and it's just... Specifically on JP for Deku Palace, things are not in very good places. But that doesn't stop like other potential Moonwarp setups in other places that might have setups that actually work well and have favorable memory manipulation. How does Moonwarp work? That's not a dumb question at all. How does Moonwarp work is a very complicated question, but it has to do with holding an invisible object that has... When you're holding an invisible object, the game sees it as holding a specific part of memory, a specific memory address that is being modified by you holding it, by the bomb shoes. And if something else loads in that slot, then carrying it around will be modifying something in that slot. And so you're holding the invisible object and trying to use it to modify certain things about the Deku Scrub guard actor. And you modify it so that he throws you to the moon. Yeah, it's the same glitch that leads to arbitrary code execution in OOT. It's stale reference manipulation, SRM. Okay, that was actually decent. Split. I can actually, it's probably best to split there actually. The moon thing, sub 2 moon warp. Sub 2 moon warp split. Thanks for 11 months, bunny named Sunny. Oh. Hey, simply. Thanks for the good luck. Thanks for 13 months, project. Big simp. I'm not muted. Hi. There's not much to say. Oh, I could have gone there. That's bad. Now I just have to wait for the time. Okay. Bad position now. No. Okay. I'm lucky a mass didn't shoot me. Thought I was pretty likely to get shot. I finished a run. I actually thought it would take longer to finish a run. That's not too bad. Except I failed stupid HMS cutscene skip. Dude, this run was so bad. The worst part of this run was first cycle. I had the worst first cycle of all time. Is that third place? Fog. From 79th place to third place in a few days. The return. Oh no, I think this is fourth place. I think Enop's run just isn't on the leaderboards yet. I'll probably try to beat this like one more time, maybe two more times. I'll probably do more runs tomorrow. And I've got some low 30 something.